Greetings and welcome aboard Zach Back's Carousel of Theme Parks podcast. Now, most carousels just go round and round without getting anywhere, but on this one, we'll be talking theme parks. And now, here's your host, Zach Back. Alright everyone, and welcome into this week's episode, where today we're going to be doing a Chit Chat episode, where we're going to discover and kind of cover all of the different holiday elements available at area theme parks. So I can't wait to kind of cover this area and cover this adventure, and really talk about these theme parks, because there's a lot of great holiday offerings that are outside of your standard Universal and Disney. But we're going to talk about all of them, including Universal and Disney, because depending on your holiday expectations, you may find different things at different places. I also have some surprises too for things that I honestly did not expect to talk about, but I decided to give them a fair chance and talk about it right here on the podcast. So we'll continue this episode in just a moment, but just as a reminder, the next episode, the next history episode, will not be out for a few weeks. It will be on the topic of Disneyland itself, but I'm going to move it until where it will release sometime after the holidays are over. So just keep an eye out on all the social medias. I will let you know when the episode is going to be coming out soon, so that you can be on the lookout on your podcast kind of playlist. Thanks again for listening today, and I hope you enjoyed this episode on the holidays in Orlando theme parks. In today's episode, we're going to be kind of discovering some of the different offerings available in many of our theme parks around the Orlando area. Now, since there are so many theme parks in the Orlando area, it's kind of actually a random, strange thing that this happened. But regardless of that, we are the theme park capital of the world. So, well, you got to start somewhere. And because of that, all of these theme parks vie for the time of a guest. And so they have to offer different things in order to truly bring everyone that they can into their theme park for that holiday season. Because you have to, bid for time. And that's what they're doing. So every theme park has something a little bit different. And the farther you get outside of the actual metro area of the main theme park corridor, the more unique you might find your offerings, or the more are similar in some ways, because people who are closer to that theme park will most likely go there rather than driving across the city to get to another one. So let's go ahead and get started. And the first one I want to talk about is Legoland, Florida. Now, I have never been to Legoland, Florida's holiday experience until this year. I did visit briefly on a non-normal day. So Legoland is very unique in a way, because Legoland, Florida is in Winter Haven, which is south of Orlando. So it's technically not right in not right in Orlando, but it's just close enough. It's literally maybe a 45-minute drive outside of like Champions Gate, Davenport area. So if you're familiar with Orlando, that is, it's kind of just south of Disney. So it's not that far, truly, from anywhere in the Orlando area. So I'm considering this one an Orlando area theme park. Well, Legoland Florida is special in a way that they only do their kind of special events on weekends only, exclusively on weekends. Because unlike the other parks, Legoland is a regional theme park. So what this means is that they don't operate on a kind of an everyday schedule necessarily. They may have days of the year where they are closed, that are just kind of random days where they just go, oh, we're not open today, and that's all. And there's nothing wrong with that fact, but it's different. It's different from the other parks, and because of that, they only do most of their holiday offerings on weekends. I just happened to not be there on a weekend, so I saw some of the basic decorations, and it was also very early on. They hadn't put up everything yet, so I saw some of the basic decorations, but not all of it. So Legoland Florida's offerings kind of include special Lego decor. So there's a Lego wreath, like photo op you can take take a picture with. There is a huge Lego Christmas tree. That's actually very pretty. I got to see that in person this year. But also on those special event weekends, they also have some entertainment. So they have a little show called Festival of Flurries. It's over in the castle area of the park, where you can watch this show where you meet Lego Snowman. There's also plenty of Lego meet and greets around the park available. So you can meet Lego Santa and Ivy. I'm not sure who Ivy is, but I'm curious now. And then Lego Nutcracker and the Lego Gingerbread Man you can meet throughout the park. There's also some Lego elves that are just kind of all over the place, which is so fun to see. They have a whole elf area of the park, according to their map. Let me see. Elf Extravaganza is what it says. So that's neat. That's neat nonetheless. So that's pretty much the most of the Legoland event, but there's also the Holly Hype Dance Party. So they've got lots of little offerings available here during the holidays, and it's also sponsored by Hallmark. So that's pretty cool to see that it's sponsored by Hallmark. I love that. So regardless of that, that's Legoland. We're going to move on to the next theme park. I'm going to actually cover, this is a weird order, I know, because I'm going to go back to a smaller park at the very end. But, I just going to kind of wrap it up with something a little different. But the next park we're going to talk about is SeaWorld Orlando. Now, SeaWorld has a lot of offerings. I would actually say that as a single theme park, they have the most offerings available right now, other than maybe Epcot. But Epcot is also very unique in its own way, and we'll get to that. It's only when I was writing the kind of outline of this episode where I was realizing there's a lot more in Epcot than I give it credit for, and that most of the other parks are actually less now than they used to be. So we'll get there. But SeaWorld Orlando, there's so many big offerings available because SeaWorld does SeaWorld's Christmas celebration. Now at SeaWorld, their most famous thing is the Oh Wondrous Night show in the Nautilus Theater. So if you're not familiar with SeaWorld's celebration, then there's a few very specific things that they do here. This is one of them, and this is a kind of it's based on the religious ideas of kind of the story of Jesus Christ. And so it's Wondrous Night is a real living nativity. So you will see live animals come into the show. You'll see the story of Jesus being presented in a theme park, which is fairly rare to see. Because I will say none of the other theme parks that I will cover today offer anything similar, truly, other than maybe Epcot with the candlelight procession. So that's pretty much the exclusion. But SeaWorld really also offers available other things for other holidays as well, because they're celebrating all of the holidays at the SeaWorld Christmas celebration. And this is just one of those offerings. But A Wondrous Night is a fantastic show. I've seen it a few times, and it's beautiful. And you can definitely tell that this is a show that people will visit traditionally. Like every year, they will go to SeaWorld, and they will see A Wondrous Night. It's a show that you have to line up hours in advance for, typically, on busier days. On less busy days, maybe not so much. But on busy weekends, you need to be there at least an hour before the show in order to be able to get into that show time. It's an early fill-up show. Beautiful, though. The story has got a lot of comedy to it. You wouldn't expect it to. It's also got a lot of music, a lot of really great talent is in this show. So I love A Wondrous Night. I really do. The next big show that they have at SeaWorld Orlando is actually their finale show at the end of the night, Holiday Reflections. It's a fireworks show at the Bayside Stadium. So this show kind of caps the end of the night with a beautiful show that kind of it kind of goes through a lot of different Christmas stories, Christmas films that you've heard of before, which is an interesting take from SeaWorld, but at the same time, it's a beautiful show nonetheless. So if you have time and you can catch it, and you're actually there on a day that it's performing, definitely catch Holiday Reflections. There's also several meet and greets around the park. You can meet Santa near Infinity Falls and the Pass Member Lounge. And there's also an available thing where you can do dinner with Santas, which is behind Bayside Stadium at the event area. So if you're interested, in doing a meal with some characters, there's a couple options here in the park. You also have the Sesame Street Christmas Parade, which is a beautiful version of what they already do normally. They always do their Sesame Street Parade, but this is a Christmas version of that parade. And they are in costumes. They do Christmas carols, but they also have the standard Meet Me on Sesame Street song, which I love that. There's also a Sesame Christmas breakfast at the Seafire Grill you can do if you want a little bit more Sesame Street. And also Sesame Street is the home of a couple of the other holiday offerings here in the park on a varied schedule. Let me see. I just want to make sure those still exist because I'm about ready to spout about them. I don't want to make sure it's still a thing. Yeah, so it's they offer the ability to see during the nights of Hanukkah. They light a large menorah here where you can kind of follow the story of Hanukkah, and they have a storyteller that will tell you more about it. There's also a Kinara here where they celebrate Kwanzaa as well. So there's several different types of experiences here that you can take part in depending on your own interests and whether or not you want to learn about other cultures, that kind of thing. So that's a really neat offering available here at SeaWorld Orlando in the Sesame Street area. Now there's a couple other shows in the park, quite a few. So over in the Seaport Theater, which is the one in the very center of the park near the Sky Tower, is Mrs. Claus's Magic Kitchen. That's usually held on event nights, but it's a show kind of like a magic show. I enjoyed this show a lot too. It's very entertaining, and every year they throw in a little bit more pop culture into the mix, which is a strange thing to put in with Mrs. Claus. But essentially, Mrs. Claus is running a cooking show on streaming of some kind, and there's usually a lot of hijinks that happen. And then the other show that happens in Seaport is Elmo's Christmas Wish. Now, this one's available every day of the holiday season. Just check showtimes in the app to make sure that there are shows that day. But this one does happen every day, and that is the Elmo's Christmas Wish, where you learn about what Elmo's wish for Christmas is. And it's a cute show. I loved this show a lot. I saw this last time I went to SeaWorld. It was beautiful. There's also another big show that happens here in the park, and that is the Winter Wonderland on Ice. This happens several times throughout the day, but also happens just before the fireworks spectacular at the end of the night. And it's a beautiful ice skating show. It's been around for several years now. They also have the ability to where you can actually ice skate yourself in the park. You can rent skates, and you can go ice skating and do ice skating lessons, things like that, in the park on the ice rink. So that's a pretty cool offering that they even suggest that they can do. So I really love that offering there in the Winter Wonderland on Ice in Bayside Stadium. So it's in Bayside Stadium. Right next to Bayside Stadium, the waterway there, they also have the kind of a miniature version of the Sea of Trees. According to the event information on the website, they still dance to music throughout the night. I have not seen that happen in a few years, but they do have usually a little bit more. They've actually shrunk the Sea of Trees over the years, and now it's just over that first area around Bayside. It's still a beautiful presentation when they're all turned on. Usually they're part of the Holiday Reflection Show, so they also do things other times of the day, but you can see them there. And also next to Bayside Stadium and Pipeline is the Meet Rudolph and Friends area. This is where you can meet Rudolph. You can meet all of the characters from the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So it's a beautiful experience if you want to see that. There's other areas around the park where you can meet Sesame Street friends. And there's also a small show. It's kind of near the Atlantis ride. It's just a snow globe ballerina. That's a beautiful thing. They've moved that around every year, I feel like. And there's also stilt walkers, jump rope toy soldiers, let me say that right, snow flurries, and trains that you can see around the park. There's a model railroad near the Dolphin Nursery. Beautiful to see. It's a really cool kind of addition there. They didn't have to put in, but they did. And then the snow flurries are all through the waterfront area, so you can see that snow during the nighttime in certain periods. Just check the app for all of the show times because everything is there. There's also one more other experience you can see is the Elf Story was near Sharks, kind of the Sharks area of the park, and Mako. So this is tells you the elf story, and the elf reads a book, and it's a whole thing. It's pretty cool nonetheless. I still enjoyed it. It's more like a streetmosphere type thing, but it's still really good just to see lots of things happening around you. Now, the park also features a lot of different little holiday markets kind of spread out throughout the park with special food and beverage. They have a tasting pass you can purchase. There's so many great offerings at SeaWorld Orlando, and there's a few other offerings that they actually do with their animals. There's a Clyde and Seymour Christmas show available during the daytime. And that's pretty much the main kind of offerings at SeaWorld. But there's so many great things here. There's lots of fun entertainment, lots of fun music, things like that around the park. So be sure to visit SeaWorld Orlando if you're looking for something a little bit different, honestly. All right, so after SeaWorld Orlando, the next experience that I'm going to cover is the Universal Orlando Resort. Now I'm going to break this down by section of the Universal Orlando Resort and Park. So first of all, the Universal City Walk. They usually set up a Christmas market. This varies in what they do, but typically they just decorate the area around those little market stall areas and the front in the center area there. And they just kind of decorate it with some extra photo ops and some extra decorations right there, some trees or things like that. And then they create mistletoe pines, typically in the previous years. Now, I haven't noticed it this year, so it may not be here this year, but typically they do something there. But they are doing some special snow flurries in this area. So they do a snowfall right around that center, like splash pad area. And then they're doing the Green and Red Coconut Club. That's a yearly tradition. It's up in the upper areas of City Walk. Definitely visit the Green and Red Coconut Club. It's a very, very, very fun experience. Not only is it just like a music club where you can go hear some music, but also they usually do a lot of really cool themed decorations here, which there's usually a really cool story with that you can follow if you look around the park. The next area is the Universal Studios Florida. Now, in Universal Studios, they are mainly known for the Universal Holiday Parade featuring Macy's, which runs once a day, so you can make sure and check that out if you can. But the experience is still amazing nonetheless, and I love this parade. It is not really changed much over the years. It's kind of the same every year, but it's still beautiful. It also features real balloons from Macy's. So Macy's creates the balloons that they have. They are not the same balloons from the Thanksgiving Day parade, but they are similar made. So they're made by Macy's actually, and they're operated by Macy's. So they're managed by that, which is so cool to see. Also, you can meet the characters that are in this parade before it. So a lot of the dancers and the other special characters that are in the parade, they usually have available around the park so that you can go and meet them and say hello, and you can talk to them individually and kind of just meet and greet. Or there's also small little shows that they do, like little street shows. It's a great experience that really makes the Universal Studios come to life, and it's a great experience around the parade. Another offering in Universal Studios Florida is the Holiday Tribute Store. Now, this has become a tradition in more recent years. Before the pandemic, this was starting to become a thing, but even before that, it was new. This is something brand new, but now it's a tradition. Every year, they build a Holiday Tribute Store, usually themed around something to do with Earl the Squirrel, which is Universal's very specific story of the squirrel in that like chewed through some lights in the Christmas tree one year. Now, we don't know if this is actually a real story or not, but it's still a wonderful story that Universal has decided to kind of just run with it. And so this year's is available in the park. It's in the Hollywood area of the park. And I went through it, and it's really fun to see lots of little hidden details. And every year, the Holiday Tribute Store is typically kind of highlighting a lot of things about Earl the Squirrel, and this year is no exception. Now, there's also decor available throughout the park. In the Hollywood area is most well known for it. In the little Central Park area has some decorations. New York also has a lot of decorations on the buildings, as well as the large Christmas tree here that they're known for. Now, this is a special light-up tree that actually Santa in the parade will interact with or light up for the night. It varies based on the day, but it's still really cool. And there's also decorations back in Diagon Alley, which kind of brings that Wizarding World of Harry Potter into the Christmas mix. So you kind of see Diagon Alley kind of all decked out for the holidays, which is still a beautiful experience. Now, there's also, they do kind of a food event here as well in the more recent years, where they have some food booths set up around the park, or little food trucks. And that's been a really great offering throughout Universal Studios Florida. So definitely check out some of that specialty food that they have available in the park. And as I said before, you can actually meet Earl the Squirrel right near the Holiday Tribute Store over next to Central Park. They do that there, so make sure you visit that, or not Central Park. I think it's Central Park, yeah. So it's over there next to the waterfront area. You can meet Earl the Squirrel. He has this like really kind of ratted out sleigh situation going on here, which is still really cool. So definitely check that out if you have a chance. And moving on into Universal Islands of Adventure, we're going to hit upon probably Universal Holidays' biggest thing. That is the Grinch. Seuss Landing gets all decked out for the holidays. They put up trees everywhere. They put up lights. They put up garlands. There's everything here. Like, they really turn it into Whoville. And that's a great thing that they do. But you can also meet the Grinch here. He typically runs with about a 4 to 5 hour wait. Some days it's less, but he has a long wait because everyone wants to meet the Grinch. But you can also see the Grinch in the Grinchmas Hula Day Spectacular, which is what they're well known for. So Grinchmas is the celebration of the holidays in Whoville, and Grinchmas here is a wonderful show, and it has been amazing for years and years and years and years. I love it, love it, love it. And every year they take a little bit of more of a creative look into it, and they change some things here and there. But typically it still keeps the same idea and the same theme and the same story. And that's a beautiful story. And it's the story of how the Grinch stole Christmas. It's a wonderful show. Definitely recommend. 10 out of 10. Please recommend. Save some time, set some time aside so that you can make sure and get in line for this show. We got in line for the showtime that I went to my last visit about 30 minutes before the show started. So we got in line as soon as they allowed us in the line. It may have been before that, but it was really early, and we just essentially got straight in the line. We were one of the first few people in the theater. We got some good seats, and it was still a fantastic experience. And it's all with music created by Mannheim Steamroller. So that's a really wonderful experience in Grinchmas Hula Day Spectacular, which is actually like the third iteration of this show inside of Islands of Adventure. So the first version of the show was the year that How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the live action film, came out in 2000. It came out in 2000. I believe it was like the first year after that, 2001 is when they created the show. It was in kind of in front of the bookshop there next to Circus McGurkus, Cafe Stupendous. And then it was really about the actual live action movie. It was about the movie. So there was nothing specifically outside of that. It was just the movie stuff. And then it moved to the stage that's now kind of not in use. It's over next to Cat in the Hat. And then they did a show there for a while. And then it moved into the Blue Man Group Theater, which is now just the stage there, and it stays there all year round as the Grinchmas stage, at least as far as I'm aware. And it's a beautiful show, and I love it, love it, love it. Fantastic experience. 10 out of 10. There's also Who Wops, which is something new this year. So the Who Wops are some members of the Who's who will kind of do like a singing group over in the new area called the Whoville Tree Lot. So there's lots of great additions this year. The Who Wops and the Whoville Tree Lot is new. They've created some special Grinch-themed trees back here in the tree lot, and so it's a fantastic experience. But the main primary thing is the Who's around the town. So since it's Whoville, there's lots of Who's inhabiting the town. So there's lots of wonderful entertainment that kind of walk around and speak with guests on a in-person basis. So if you even can't meet the Grinch in person without seeing the show, you can at least see a lot of the Who's wandering Whoville, and that's a fantastic experience. Otherwise, in Universal Islands of Adventure, Hogsmeade also dresses up for the holidays, and they have a special projection show on Hogwarts Castle called The Magic of Christmas at Hogwarts. And that's a wonderful little short projection show if you're back in that area in the nighttime whenever it's happening. And then there's decorations in both Seuss Landing and Hogsmeade, but the rest of the park really isn't that decorated up. The front side of Port of Entry is also decorated up at the very main entrance of the park, but the rest of Port of Entry really isn't decorated. It's kind of a sad thing. I would love to see a lot more throughout the park, and there was really nothing over in any of the other areas of the park either. So kind of disappointed there. I would love to see some Jurassic Park themed Christmas decorations. I would love to see some, Toon Lagoon themed stuff, some Marvel stuff. I mean, I guess not. Whatever. But regardless of that, that's all of Universal Islands of Adventure. The next park is Universal Epic Universe. This is brand new this year. Brand spanking new. But mainly what they're doing is decor. This year is just decor at a Universal Epic Universe. I'm sure in the future we'll see more in future years because it always starts small and they move it up from there. But this year they've started where they've put decorations all throughout Celestial Park. There's decorations in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Ministry of Magic. So in Place Cachée, you will find lots and lots of decorations here on the buildings. And then over in Isle of Berk, we actually ended up getting a little bit of things as they celebrate Snoggletog, which is a special celebration in Berk. You can actually watch the holiday special with How to Train Your Dragon. You can watch that special and it'll learn more about Snoggletog. But there's also some specialty foods available. They've got a special edition version of the mac and cheese cone here available for the holidays. So, you might not get much here in the park, but you do get some specialty food out of the How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk. So that's great. But that's pretty much all in Universal Epic Universe. Now we're going to move into the big behemoth of holidays, Walt Disney World. So Walt Disney World does something nearly everywhere on the property. So this is why I will say Walt Disney World is typically a major, major destination for most people during the holidays because they do so much to celebrate the holidays. However, there's not a lot of new things. Like every year, I feel like there's just a little bit less, but that's my own personal gripe. Regardless of that, let's cover each of the parks. So first of all, let's start with Magic Kingdom. So in Magic Kingdom, I will say most of the holiday special offerings are available only during the special ticketed event, Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. This has become a standard experience that you can do. So if you're interested in seeing the holidays in the Magic Kingdom, this is what you'll need to do. Although decor is available throughout the park daily. So you can still see the decorations. You can still see the tree every single day. You can hear the beautiful Christmas music tinkling through the street. You can see the decorations over in Tomorrowland along the Tomorrowland stage. You can see decorations throughout Fantasyland and Frontierland this year as a special edition, as well as Liberty Square. So they've added some decor around the park. And they've also decorated up the circus area. The Storybook Circus has also received some love this year, which is so exciting to see. So honestly, Magic Kingdom's decorations have truly expanded in recent years. That's the newest things to be happening. But during Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, you can experience several entertainment offerings, including Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas Time Parade, which is a beautifully traditional parade. I love this parade. It's beautiful. I have seen it a few times, and it's one of my favorite things that the Magic Kingdom does. They also have the Minnie's Wonderful Christmas Time Fireworks Show at the end of the night. There's Mickey's Most Merriest Celebration, which is a stage show on the front of the castle. So this is the one show, if you've ever heard me text me Merry Christmas, that's a song that Mickey and friends have sung. It's still great. This is also where you may have seen that viral clip of Clarabelle singing All I Want for Christmas Is You. That's this show. So definitely check this out if you have a chance. And then you've got Frozen Holiday Surprise, which is, it used to be the castle lighting show. So originally there was a Cinderella show where Cinderella would ask for Fairy Godmother to light the castle up when they used to put lights on the castle itself. And then after it transitioned, when Frozen started, kind of like Frozen came out, they transitioned the show to be Frozen themed. So Elsa adds ice to the castle, and the ice lights up in magical ice. It's beautiful. Well, now they still do it, but it's not lights anymore, it's projections. So they project different types of snow effects on the castle to make it look icy and frozen. So that's a show that they will do. That actually, Frozen Holiday Surprise actually does happen during regular park hours, typically before the event starts. So you may be able to check this show out even on non-event nights. So definitely check out the schedule for this one in the app. If you can catch this one, then great. There's also several dance parties around the park. There's the Disney Junior Jingle Jam, which is usually inside of Cosmic Ray's Starlight Cafe. There is Club Tinsel, which is over in Tomorrowland. And then this year, we also have a new edition of Santa's Christmas Carnival back in Storybook Circus. So that's where you can actually meet Santa. There's also so many meet and greets. I'm not covering all the meet and greets that are available because there's so many of them. If you're interested in more to do with Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, then you can do your own research on that one. There's lots of information on the website for that. There's also special items available. So many of these items, like these shows, are available during a special period between Christmas and New Year's without meet and greets, but they're available during normal park hours. So every park guest can experience these things. So you can see the parade, you can see the Christmas time fireworks show, you can see Mickey's Most Merriest Celebration, you can see the Frozen Holiday Surprise. All of these things are available during regular park hours between Christmas Day and New Year's Eve. So check that out if you haven't done it. It's a great attempt to see it. However, you do typically pay more to be in the parks that time of year because most of the annual passes are blocked out. The only one that is not is the Incredipass. And most tickets have blockout dates during this period. You can buy tickets, but it's a lot more expensive typically, and they do that for a reason. So if you have the chance though, and if you're going to be there, make sure you try to catch all of this special entertainment. The next park on our lineup is Epcot. Now, Epcot actually surprises me because there's quite a bit here to do as a normal park guest, which I love. I love that. So there's quite a bit here. Primarily the Candlelight Processional, which is a traditional offering in the storytelling of the story of Christmas, with usually a celebrity narrator, and then there's a cast member choir, a choir of the Voices of Liberty, if you're familiar with those. And then there's also a choir usually of local school groups or local areas, local things. So that's available as well. So this has changed a lot throughout the years. This year it's still beautiful. It's absolutely still beautiful. And it's still a sought after experience because of the celebrity, but also the experience of the Candlelight Processional has become its own tradition as well, just like A Wondrous Night became a tradition in SeaWorld. But also Epcot celebrates with the Epcot International Festival of the Holidays. Now this used to be called something else, but it's now called this, and it has a lot of offerings. So there's a holiday cookie stroll. There's special foods throughout the park where you can try some different holiday-themed food items. There is Olaf's Holiday Tradition Expedition Scavenger Hunt. So if you go between the countries, you'll see different traditions, different moments of traditions. You can purchase this special little scavenger hunt sheet, and you can go around collecting all of the things and finding all of the items. You can also see a gingerbread spaceship Earth, which is in Communicore Hall, the new building in the World Celebration area. You can also meet Santa in Communicore Hall. You can also meet Santa Goofy in the Odyssey Pavilion. And there's also a show out here as well next to Communicore Hall called Joyful, a celebration of the season. So definitely check that one out as well. And one of my favorite things is the holiday storytellers throughout World Showcase. So I'm going to list them off just so that you know. So in the Canada Pavilion, there's the Canadian Holiday Voyageurs. In the United Kingdom Pavilion, there's Father Christmas. In the France Pavilion, there's Père Noël. Between Morocco and the France Pavilions, you can see a Hanukkah storyteller. In the Japan Pavilion, there's Daruma Storyteller. In the Italy Pavilion, there's La Befana. I love La Befana. Germany Pavilion is Adventskalender. In the China Pavilion is the Chinese Lion Dancer. In the Also in the Chinese pavilion is the Shisu Trio. In the Norway pavilion, a mischievous magical barn Santa. I also love that one as well. He's funny. And the Mexico pavilion is Las Posadas celebration. I said that wrong first. Oops. Regardless of that. So beyond that, those are some of my favorite things in Epcot to do, because you can walk around to each country individually and learn more about their holiday celebration, which is so fun. Now, also in the park is Living with the Land Glimmering Greenhouses, which is available in the Land Pavilion. This is a newer thing that they've added. So essentially they put lights all throughout the greenhouses, different decorations. And so when you ride Living with the Land, you get to see all of the beautiful Christmas lights lighting up all the greenery throughout the greenhouses of Living with the Land. It's a beautiful thing, and it makes Living with the Land absolutely a desired experience, which we love. We love Living with the Land getting some recognition. So that's pretty much all in Epcot, but that's a lot in Epcot, available to any day park guests. So anyone can see these things. And there's so many cookies, there's so many specialty foods, so many things to do. It's just like a food and wine festival, but with Christmas food, with holiday foods. So definitely visit Epcot this time of year. All right, so the next park is Disney's Hollywood Studios. Now, Disney's Hollywood Studios for me used to be the holiday sleeper hit of Walt Disney World. This is where you could truly get into the holiday spirit without breaking the bank, because you could just pay for a normal park ticket and come here and see everything. Unfortunately, Disney caught on, and they created Disney Jollywood Nights, which is a specialty ticketed event where they have most of the things that used to be free to park guests, or at least free under normal park admission, and is now under a special ticketed price. So unfortunately, they figured it out. Regardless of that fact, there's still a lot available in the daytime here at Disney's Hollywood Studios, not during an event night. You can still see Sunset Seasons Greetings, which is a projection and snowfall show available on Sunset Boulevard. You can still see that every night, regardless of event night. It's also available during Jollywood Nights, but it's still special in its own way, and it's always there. You can also meet the characters in Toy Story Land, all dressed up for the holidays. There's still decorations back here. The whole park is decked out from head to toe throughout Hollywood and Sunset Boulevards and around Echo Lake. This is where the huge Christmas tree is, my favorite Christmas tree, I still believe. And you can also see Santa Gertie, aka she's wearing a Santa hat and she's holding, the same grass out of her mouth. You can also buy during Jollywood Nights Gertie cookies here. But anyway, let's go ahead and jump into Jollywood Nights. So Disney Jollywood Nights includes several entertainment experiences, including Disney Holidays in Hollywood, which is located in the Theater of the Stars. This is the show where the Muppets host a variety show, where you can see Belle singing from her Christmas special. There's lots of offerings here, but this is a wonderful show. Best experience ever. There's also What's This? Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas Sing-Along, which is located in the Hyperion Theater. This is where Frozen Sing-Along also is during the daytime. Speaking of that, they also have a special holiday tag for the first time in forever, a Frozen Sing-Along celebration, which is the full name of the show. They also do a special holiday version of that show during this time of year, so definitely check out that show during the daytime, and then check out What's This? Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas Sing-Along when you're there for Disney Jollywood Nights. They also do some special experiences in different areas of the park during Jollywood Nights, including the Echo Lake Holiday Celebration. So they have special characters available over there with music. They have the Pixar Disco, which is over in the Pixar Place area of the park, the Pixar Courtyard kind of space, and right outside of Toy Story Land. So they do it there. There's also the Twilight Soiree at the Tip Top Club. This is a fun experience over next to Tower of Terror, where you can kind of see a lounge singer kind of experiencing a back to the past type experience where it looks like you're actually stepped in the 1920s at the Tip Top Club. It's beautiful experience. And they also have some special characters that pop out over here as well this year. There's also Glisten, which is an ice skating show at the very center of the park in front of the Chinese Theater, in front of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. And then they also do a special event you can also partake in if you would prefer or if you would like to inside of the Hollywood Brown Derby called Jazzy Holidays at the Hollywood Brown Derby, which is where they bring out some jazz music and play it while you're dining on some delicious appetizers here in the restaurant. And then the night is always sunsetted with the final show of Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam, which is based on the prep and landing shows and holiday specials that Disney made quite a few years ago. So that's mostly of Jollywood Nights. There's lots of character interactions throughout the park, so definitely that is probably the biggest thing. Sunset Seasons Greetings is also available on event nights during Jollywood Nights, so you can see that. That's most of Hollywood Studios. There's a lot. There used to be more back in the day when we had the Osborne Family Spectacle of Lights. Miss it a lot. Maybe someday we'll get something back like that around here in Walt Disney World. There's been so many different things throughout the years, and that was one of those things that I truly miss like crazy. Now moving into the next park, which is Disney's Animal Kingdom. I will be honest, this year there's not a lot at Disney's Animal Kingdom going on because they're in a period of transition with the new land of the park, with Dino Land being transformed. So they're not really putting a lot of focus on Animal Kingdom at the moment for the holidays. So they, of course, still do their standard stuff with decorations in Discovery Island, decorations around the Africa area, decorations in Pandora, Asia, and they still decorate little bits of Dino Land USA. But there's also a meet and greet still at Restaurantosaurus. This will be the last year for this meet and greet. So definitely visit this if you're in the parks the next week or so, because December 24th, I believe, is the last day for this. So definitely check it out if you can. I met Santa at Restaurantosaurus last year. It was a wonderful experience. I loved it all. I loved it so much, and I miss it. But regardless of that fact, that's pretty much everything at Animal Kingdom, other than, also, I forgot to mention it, I skipped right over it, the Merry Menagerie. So Merry Menagerie is a little kind of like a puppet experience at the very front of the park, right in front of the Tree of Life. You can see this here. It's beautiful, very great entertainment right here. I would love to see more of this type of entertainment throughout Disney's Animal Kingdom and the parks in the future, but this is a wonderful experience here. Beautiful. It's very holiday. But that's pretty much Disney's Animal Kingdom here. So we'll move into the rest of it here in just a second. Let me see. The next place will be Disney Springs. So Disney Springs offers quite a bit to do, and this is all available for free. Yeah, it's wild. So you can meet Santa at Santa's Marketplace, in the Marketplace. Now this one you do need a virtual queue for. You can find more information about that on the Disney website, but virtual queue is available for Santa only. And then there is the Disney Springs Christmas Tree Stroll, which features 19 trees this year, where you get a prize, which right now is an ornament. Last year it was also an ornament, so that's a really neat experience. And then there's Snowfall, I can't say it right. Snowfall in Town Center is nightly from 5:30 p.m. to 10 p.m., weather permitting. I do know if it gets wet, if it's wet at all, there won't be any snow because it's soap. Snope is so. I can't talk. Snow is Snope. That's what everyone calls it, Snope, because it's soap. So because of that, it gets really slippery if it's wet. So we don't do that. But Snowfall is nightly in Town Center, right around that Christmas tree. So make sure you check that out. There's also several things of holiday entertainment I've seen in my time there. Skating snowflakes, stilt walkers that kind of walk around the area. I've seen stilt walker toy soldiers. I've seen stilt walker like snow people. I don't really know, snow queens, I guess. There's toy soldier drummers. There's a holiday brass band that will kind of goes through the area. There is DJ Sleigh. There's strolling piano during the daytime. There is letters to Santa at Once Upon a Toy. This is a fun little experience where you can write your letter to Santa and mail it, and then you get to keep it because they send it by email. It's fun. Or by airmail. And then there's Douglas Fir, which if you've watched anything about Disney Springs Christmas time, Douglas Fir is a iconic moment here. He loves to roam around. It's a little motorized Christmas tree that runs around yelling. But Douglas Fir is wonderful. Now, outside of Disney Springs, we also have lots of options at the Walt Disney World Resort hotels, which a lot of guests choose to visit as well during this season because it's free to visit hotels if you visit from Disney Springs. So if you take shuttles from Disney Springs to go visit hotels, completely free to do. You can also get dining reservations at hotels, and that gives you access to park at the hotels. But regardless of that fact, there's gingerbread displays at certain hotels, and there's also special iconic trees at different hotels. Now, every single Disney hotel resort will have some sort of decorations. Don't get me wrong. But there are certain hotels that you want to see versus ones that maybe you're like, it's fine. So some of those must-see are the ones with the gingerbread displays and the ones with the icon trees. So gingerbread displays are available this year at Disney's Skinny Prairie Resort, which has a Castle Dreamlights display. Disney's Wilderness Lodge, which has a chocolate cabin. Disney's Boardwalk Inn has the Boardwalk Deli, which is a gingerbread little deli. Disney's Beach Club Resort has the gingerbread carousel, which is always an iconic piece. And at Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge, there is a whole array of animals built out of gingerbread. In previous years, it was giraffes, zebra. Last year there was a flamingo. So every year there's a little bit different offerings here. And as it goes for icon trees, I consider icon trees as those really big trees in the lobby tree, the big ones. And the big lobby trees are available this year at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa. As usual. This year, they do not have the gingerbread house at Grand Floridian due to construction in the lobby, but they did still put up the tree. So, the Grand Floridian Resort and Spa tree is beautiful. And then you have the Disney's Contemporary Resort tree, which is actually, funny enough, it's outside the resort, so you can see it from afar. And honestly, you don't need to be right next to it to see it. Then you have Disney's Wilderness Lodge, which has this beautiful tree in the lobby there. And then there's Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge, which also has another beautiful tree right in the lobby. And those are kind of those iconic locations at Walt Disney World Resort hotels that you can see some of those fantastic decorations. Of course, every hotel has their own take on decorations, so definitely visit any that you can get to. You will find it's absolutely beautiful. But those are the ones in my experience that I've found a lot of great things at. Also, just for highlight sake, at Boardwalk, they also typically do some small displays as well available during Christmas time. There's usually like a Christmas display there. At Yacht Club, they do a model railroad layout, I believe. And there's usually some other offerings here as well. But all of these locations have some great spots to see holiday decorations. So definitely check those out if you can. All right, so that pretty much wraps up Walt Disney World. Now, I do have a couple other honorable mentions. I wanted to leave these to the end because these are not really big theme parks in the Orlando area, but they are locations in the Orlando area that do offer things, and they are parks. So you have Fun Spot Orlando, which Fun Spot Kissimmee also does this, so both of the fun spots here will have lights throughout the areas of the amusement park, and they will also have some trees from different sponsors from Fun Spot, so you can see those if you happen to be visiting Fun Spot in that time period. Also, honorable mention this year, Gatorland. I saw this online and I had to look it up some more, and so I ended up finding it. But Gatorland does something called the Holiday Ho Ho Hoedown, which features fun, food, and craft vendors, and you can meet Gator Claus, you can meet Krampus Croc, and you can also see a show with Skunk Ape and Friends for Cryptid Carols. So that's cool. So there's lots of offerings, no matter what you're interested in here. Gatorland even has it. So if you have access to Gatorland, or you can get access to Gatorland, or would like to try to go to Gatorland, it sounds like they have a really great event. Check out their website for event dates. All right, so thanks for listening to this week's episode of our Chit Chat about holidays at Orlando theme parks. I hope you enjoyed or learned something about the holiday season at different parks that maybe you just haven't visited yet. But I hope you enjoyed it because I loved it. And I know other people love them as well. So definitely visit Orlando theme parks for these experiences. Now, I'm highlighting Orlando theme parks because this is the theme park capital, but at the same time, I know there are some even better Christmas events and holiday events in parks outside of Orlando. So I went last year to quite a few wonderful events in California. I went this year, earlier in the year, as you mentioned, from Dollywood's Smoky Mountain Christmas. You can see the last Chit Chat for that one. But I wanted to cover all of the Orlando area ones in this episode. So thanks for listening to the Carousel of Theme Parks podcast. This episode did not have any sources because it was just me looking up on their websites. But if you want to find out more information about these holiday experiences, visit the website of the appropriate resort. Other than Walt Disney World being a little bit weird with their website, all of the parks have a special holiday section where you can see more about their specific holiday events. Walt Disney World's is by park, and Animal Kingdom has no page for this information, so I pulled this from social media and other blogs. But regardless of that fact, thank you for listening to this week's episode, and I'll see you on the next episode around the carousel when we cover Disneyland. I'm so excited about this one. I cannot wait to start working on it. I have not started on it yet, so please don't get on to me for that. It takes a lot to research these episodes, but regardless of that fact, I love it. I love that a lot. So I'll see you on the next ride around the carousel. But until next time, have a happy holidays, and I will see you probably in the new year. Thanks again, and bye-bye!